So I made an investment here.
The reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months.
Nice little unit. Came with a bucket. She's a 1990, something around there. Gehl 4625 SX. Good tires on it. She got a 50-ish horsepower Kubota. She's got a brand new battery. All the filters look new. Clean, runs good. Just gave her a grease job. I got a little bit of work to do on the bucket. Enclosed cab, heater, hand T-bar controls, like hand controls, foot throttle, so it's not too bad, but it's kind of weird controls. Like you, instead of like a normal ISO control skid steer where it'd be forward, back, left, and right to steer, this one's twist to steer. Same thing with the bucket. It's you pull back, twist back for curl in and twist out for dump. It's got auxiliaries. It's got kind of a weird, I don't know, it's kind of a weird quick attach on it, but I have a brand new skid steer universal plate I was going to put on a tractor, but I never got around to. But I'm going to put it on this and then cut all this shit off, put a regular skid steer plate on this bucket. There's a couple little holes, you can see some daylight there and there. I'm gonna patch those holes up. I got a couple cutting edges off of an old snowplow. I'm gonna bolt onto here. The bucket should be fine for a couple of years once I get her patched up and whatnot, but I'm hoping it'll be a nice little machine for around here, and I can get a pair of forks on it and use it. I got a couple grease fittings to replace here, and then this pin is kind of fucked. Like there's just a pin somebody's jammed in there, because this side the pin sits tight and it's tacked on there, and it actually has a grease fitting. The other side doesn't. But the quick attach works. You basically fold this arm back and forth, and that opens and closes it. It's not bad. I might throw some grease on there just for now, because I am going to use it. And the reason that I want to go with a normal skid steer plate is so I can, if I need to rent an attachment or something, like I might have a fence job this summer, so I can rent an attachment and use anything, or I can buy a grapple for it or something, which is eventually what the plan's going to be. But anyway, yeah, it's a good runner. All the lights work except for the beacon. I can't figure out how to get the beacon working, but other than that, yeah, it's a pretty slick unit for the price point. Everything works pretty much except the beacon on the roof. 38, 28 hours on it. Fuel gauge doesn't work. Temp gauge does. It came full of fuel, which is a big plus. Runs really well. Runs really well for how old of a machine it is. This I put a new spade connector on this wiper thing, but it's like this so that you can take the door off easily. So I just need to kind of find somewhere for this wire to live where it's not going to touch anything. But basically you just unplug that spade terminal and then you can just lift the door off like any other skid steer. Yeah, it's a pretty slick little unit. It's got a couple little mirrors that are actually placed pretty well. They're not bad for just little stick-on mirrors. The cab needs some love. I'm gonna try and clean out this heater thing because it is full of shit. And it leaks where this beacon light comes through, but I'm just going to put a little bead of caulk around that, I think, just to seal that up. Other than that, like, it leaks a little bit through the door, but I might be able to get a rubber piece for it or something like that. Yeah. So I'm still plugging away on this thing here and there. I had to replace grease fitting on that side, and with both of these top pin grease fittings needed replaced. That one was like still in, but it was broken, and this one was completely missing. But in saying that, the hole also was full of dirt. So once I pulled the grease fitting out, it was all like all the threads were full of dirt. So I tried to just screw the grease fitting in, and it ended up kind of half cross threading. So I pulled the bolt out, tapped the pin out, just chased the threads out with a eighth MBT 27 tap. Worked fine, and then I just replaced the bolt, and it's good. Got a grease fitting in there. Next thing, tomorrow morning, I gotta go pick up a new pin for that. I'm gonna knock that chunk of bar off of there, and I can replace this pin. This is what it's supposed to look like with a grease fitting in the end. And that piece, when I first got it home, this was all loose, but then once I greased the other side, it kind of pushed the whole quick coupler this way. And so hopefully the thing comes out, but I'm going to take the grinder and knock this big bugger weld off of here and see if I can get that pin out. And then tomorrow morning I'm going to pick up a new one from the local AGCO dealer. So I got the pin out. I used the Ford fucking bottle jack to lift up the boom just a hair, just to take some tension off the old off the pin. But the only thing that bottle jack is good for, I don't think I'd be lifting a 3/4 ton diesel truck with it. But I got it out and got the bolt out. Also, this bolt's fucked. I'm gonna look in the bin. If not, I'll grab one when I'm at the farm. At the dealer tomorrow, I'll grab just a bolt and a nut for it. And that should be all that I need to fix for now. And then I can get Buddy to make me up this adapter. And I have the skid steer plates right over here, brand new. I was gonna put them on this tractor, but now I'm gonna put them on here. Priced out a new set of forks. They're not that expensive, and that's the biggest thing I wanted, was to be able to easily interchange between bucket and forks. And I have a big fence job for this machine, so I'm going to need to rent an auger. So I need to have the normal quick attach on it. But compared to actually swapping this machine to that style quick attach versus building an adapter, because then I'd also have to buy a skid steer plate for this bucket or buy a different bucket. So that's adding another cost for where it doesn't really need it. And as of right now, having this bucket hooked up with the factory quick attach, I have the most breakout force. Like, the closer if I'm moving it further away from the machine, I'm losing lift power and breakout force. But regarding lift power on the forks, I don't think it's too big of a deal, because this machine doesn't lift a crazy amount of weight anyway. So I got the pin put in. I do not have the right grease fitting for it. I thought it was a 1/4 MPT, but it is not. It's a half inch standard, I guess, thread. So I need to get a grease fitting for it, but it's not a huge thing. I just laid a bunch of grease on the pin itself and then put it in. It should be enough just for the little amount that I need to use it for right now. So I can't find the right grease fitting that fits in that port. I'm wondering if there's some sort of adapter, because that's just a regular 1/2 inch NC thread. So I'm wondering if I'm missing some sort of adapter or something for that, because I think they make them like that so you can thread a slide hammer into it to pull them out. So my plan here, what I'm doing to make this easy, is I took a 1/2 inch bolt, I cut it down, and I just kind of re-threaded the end of it so that the threads aren't all fucked. And then I drilled an 1/8 inch hole all the way through it, and then I countersunk it with a 7/32. So then I'm going to tap it for 1/4 inch NF, which is what a regular 1/4 inch grease fitting is. And then that'll be my just standard grease fitting. Now, I don't make a whole lot of custom parts, but I think that turned out pretty slick for what it is. So that's the finished product. I got her on there, pumped some grease into it, and she works. Not bad.